the playoff champion. It's going to be a Xerath ban and a Syndra ban here for H2K, and a Kassadin ban, blue side,
Yay!
and a first pick Maokai. Doing it right,
Yes,
H2K.
no Lucian ban. Might have been banned in 4 games, but we don't actually have to ban it this time around. And if Z still locks in the Corki, it's really going to make the last 4 Lucian bans look pretty silly.
So, Rise, Jarvan taken here for SK Gaming Prime. Rise obviously could end up in the top lane, could end up in the mid lane for What the Fox. I'll have to see about that. And of course, Kikis getting himself the Jarvan once again. And there's the Lucian lock-in, so we'll see if this Lucian hype is really there. Hyunan's going to take that one. They get Nami as well, taking that away from Zaitan that he's had in the last 2 games. The 2 games that SK Gaming Prime have won. And that might just be now Corki Thresh, which is what Zaitan was playing before. Although, you know, Morgana is open, yeah.
Could also be the choice. Again, not the best against Nami in the laning phase, but then outside of the lane, especially against Maokai, the Black Shield is going to be very important because now he can really engage onto the AD carry and lock him down. So wouldn't be surprised to see Morgana come in as a support for SK Prime, but H2K must really consider Lucian to be the #1 AD carry, as they banned it 4 times and now early pick it with every other AD carry open. So I'm really looking forward to see what Hyunan can do on Lucian here, and how hard him and AOD can actually dominate the lane.
Well, the Tash is in this one. We're going to see Zaitan picking up Braum. A good pick for him in the past. We've seen him performing well on that champion. And of course, did actually play it a couple of times throughout the playoffs so far. Other side, H2K going to take Lee Sin this time around. It's what Trashy won the first 2 games with. Lost 2 games then with Rengar, which they put massive priority on. First picking it on the blue side, first picking it as well over on the red side when they had those 2 choices. They're going to get it as a last pick this time around, but what are they going to go for in the mid lane here?
They have to get late game damage now. They need a mid laner who can scale into late game. Otherwise, the Rise on the side of SK Prime is going to be very, very hard to deal with here. So, okay. Works out with the TF and also opens up again for now, or opens up for H2K to have a bit of a pick comb in the case. You have Listen, you have TF to find these small fights, 1-on-1, 2v2. And of course, Nami can set up with a good bubble. And also you have a Maokai who makes it very easy to gank his lane, because if people stand right in front of you, in the laning phase, you just snare them, TF joins in.
So for SK Gaming Prime then, is that a rise for What the Fox in the mid lane? Will they switch things around somewhat and give that up to Smitty J? Might be feeling that something more aggressive is worth it here, and actually going to pull out the Riven.
So we've seen his Riven a few times, also against the Maokai actually, and the last time he played this matchup, he actually lost the lane. Straight up 1-on-1 to a couple shot against NIP in the semi-final. Definitely not looking to do the same here. He did actually end up having a pretty good game on Riven anyway, because once he got out of the lane phase, he just became like a split pushing monster. But normally on Riven, you really need to win your laning phase, and a bit like Aurelia, the type you want to quickly snowball into some damage items, and then go into the first few teammates in the mid game and just blow up the AD carry, or mid lane in this case.
So if you look at that last game against Ninjas in Pajamas, Braum, Jarvan, Corki, Riven, and it was Xerath instead of Rise this time around. Okay. So a lineup that they are very, very familiar with.
Very focused again from SK Gaming Prime on like fighting in the mid game, getting the dragons, getting objectives, and then get the skull lead they can then snowball from. I really want to see though what Lucian can bring. Been banned so many times, now he's finally picked here. I'm actually expecting very big things from Hyunan, but I'm afraid there's a high chance I might get disappointed by Lucian.
Well, as the players get ready for the final game, tell us who you think's going to go home with the series win. Direct your tweets to @LOL Esports with hashtag H2K win or hashtag SKP win. We'll check the tally in just a little bit. See if Deficio gets his 84%. Don't think so, though. Sorry.
It was there before. We didn't show it. It's fine.
So you're just saying that it was 84% without actually seeing it. Not even remotely.
And they lost anyway, so it was actually terrible of me to predict.
And
84%.
Lost as well. We'll see about that one, though. We are going to get now into game number 5. It all comes down to this. H2K with a 2-0 lead SK Prime now pulling it all the way back to tie us up, coming into our final game to decide who's going to be the summer playoff champions. Let's get into it. H2K on the blue side got themselves that Maokai. Finally, let's see if Odo Amne can have the impact that Smitty J has brought over the last two.
Yeah, let's see what he can do in the laning phase against the Riven. He does have a Febiven on Twisted Fate to help him out after level 6 here, if he actually needs it. Again, remember, last time Smitty played Riven, actually lost his lane by himself. What the fuck's in this mid lane on Ryze? Should have a pretty easy time farming and get an early Rod of Ages, and then when you do have Corki and Riven, you have enough of this mid-game power to make sure Ryze can scale fully into late game. So it's a nice setup by SK Prime. And it's not even like I feel like their late game is a lot worse than H2K, especially because Lucian is not a hyper carry. He's fine in the late game, he's fine in the mid game, he's fine in the laning phase. It's always been the thing about Lucian, he's always been a safe pick all around, never been a hyper carry. So in that case, it's not like SK Prime is going to be too scared of the late game. They're going to be scared about the Maokai, because he's the only true tank we have in the game here.
We'll see if that impacts us later on when Maokai's full-on beast tank, and Smitty J is probably going to have a bit more damage items coming out with that Riven. Actually started off Doran's shield there to have a bit more of a safer laning phase. Doran's ring start for his opposite number, Odo Amne. We're going to be seeing standard lanes here as well, which, we have to be honest, have been very much SK Gaming Prime, especially in that bottom lane.
Yeah, but now they are against the Nami. They had the Nami in the last game. Zaitan had a good game. And C's as well, where they dominated the lane, like at least 25 CS ahead for most of the time. Now they have a Braum who's not as strong as Nami in the laning phase. Let's see what Z's can do this time around. Corki once again for him. Not sure he's unhappy about it. I'm not sure he just wanted Lucian above everyone else. Corki's been working out.
We'll see if Z's can have that impact here once again. Looks like we could be seeing H2K hitting level 2 a little bit quicker. See if they actually try and push any kind of advantage with that one. See the poke coming out from AOD. Z's down to about half health. Mid lane, of course, Ryze versus Twisted Fate. And Feb even trying to get the early advantage there. Top lane will be Riven versus Maokai, and Odo Amne not scared there as he hits level 2 first.
Again, a bit of the same deal for Smitty. A lot of pressure onto him in the start. He's only level 1 now to level 2 for Odo Amne, and probably just need a few level. Maybe he's a brutalizer before he can really start dueling the Maokai instead of one-on-ones. Otherwise it can be very hard to kill the tanky tree. But on his bottom lane, Yanan and AOD with a good start, completely zoning away Z's. Which again also, Nami against the Braum is not a good matchup for Braum, because it's so hard for him to actually poke Nami where it really matters. Nami with her sustain should be fine.
Kikis as well. Just going to be climbing over the back of the Dragon Pit. Is he going to be able to get in there for this one? Yanan and AOD push so far up. He's waiting for that next minion wave to go through to leave that sighting of him as late as possible. But they've started to back away. Here comes Kikis now. He's actually going to come right around the back of them. Zaitan going to go in there. They miss the slow onto AOD, but they might be able to get the stun. There it is. AOD is surely going to be going down on this one. He does. His first pick, first blood over towards Z's, and he's going to fall. Zaitan now in trouble as Trashy comes in with Lee Sin. Did manage to get the slow. Kiki's going back aggressive on towards Yanan. Zaitan comes back in to block some damage. Close stuff in the bottom lane, but first blood going over to SK Gaming Prime.
So in the end here, trading 1-for-1. The important deal is Z's went down, so he didn't manage to pick up the last farm here, which he really needed because he lost so much CS in the start by the fact that Yanan and AOD was just pressuring him to the tower, denying so much farm. Lost all of it here. We'll go to Kikis and Zaitan. So while it was first blood for SK Prime, the fact that Z's lost even more farm, even more XP, he's only level 2 at the moment. Not very good for him.
Yeah, and 19-7 the CS total there.
Can get some now at least. Should be able to catch up in XP, or at least some of it.
Well, he's going to come back into the lane with a couple of longswords as Odo Amne again diving in on towards Smitty J. Actually doesn't get the slow there from that sapling. That could have actually been really dangerous if that had worked out. Smitty J goes back in himself and both of them low. Here comes Febiven. This is real bad news for Smitty J. He's going to try and recall And Febiven turns around. Let me down.
Level 5 TF gank here. Wanted to try and set up a dive because Smitty was so low. Didn't actually work because Smitty started recalling. And now, back to this mid lane. A few CS behind. Same can be said about the bottom lane, and it's actually H2K. Oh, sorry, yeah, H2K doing well in the side lanes now. Only a TF being slightly behind.
So
it's been a long day.
Odomna back into that top lane as well. Couldn't quite finish off his catalyst there, but got the mana and health crystals. As Trashy puts down a pink ward. Is he going to try and visit this bottom lane? There's a ward in the side brush on the river. He's not even going to bother. He's off to farm a little bit more. Bubble attempt there by AOD. Doesn't quite connect for him. As Riven getting a deep ward in as well. So wants to make sure that Trashy doesn't come flying out and cause him a few problems. Didn't burn his flash in that last encounter. Obviously Twisted Fate moved away, but look at this.
Again, baiting you. Twice.
Baiting me in. Getting all excited when Twisted Fate moves off to the side of the lane thinking he's going to Destiny gank one of those lanes. Doesn't happen for him though. Or doesn't even try for it. He just wanted to recall and buy himself some items. There's the bubble landing on towards these. Good Unbreakable though from Zaitan will stop all the damage.
So Braum here again, while he's not very good in the lane against Nami, in the team fights, however, he's insanely strong because he can block the ulti from Nami, he can even block the ulti from Illusion. So Zaitan picked it knowing the laning phase will be hard, but just said, you know what, in team fights, I can completely block 2 ultis. Let's see, Febiven now is going to top lane.
Now he's going to top lane, and Smitty J is out of position here, and that's going to be a lot of damage coming down. Nice knock-up from Odoamne, and there is the kill. Febiven against him, meanwhile down in the bottom lane. Kick is going low. He's going to be finished off by Trashy. H2K trying to run away from this one. What the Fox has come down to the bottom, flashes in, locks on Trashy, good bubble, but it's not going to be enough here, I don't think it is. Trashy is able to walk through the brush, they lose vision of him, and they stop the kills coming in. That's a couple of them going over to H2K. Nicely done.
Yeah, 2 very, very fast kills here. Once again, Trash is in the bottom lane, winning the fight against Kikis on his Lee Sin, like he did in the first game and in the second game. Now he's suddenly doing it again. Wasn't able to do it on Rengar, doesn't have the same early game power. And now things are looking good for H2K once again. Did see a very fast cleanse from What the Fox down this bottom lane as soon as he got bubbled, but just wasn't enough to actually take someone down.
So junglers get back underway on their farm paths. Kikis will take his red blue buffs up over the other side, so that should be going over to Twisted Fate here in a second. Actually going Morella Nomicon again this time around is Febiven, which gonna have less of an impact I think than it did in terms of the healing reduction, because obviously it was Mundo last time around which needed sorting out. Which of course it was Xerath who had that Morella Nomicon. Slight change on that.
There was a Mundo, there was a Morella Nomicon.
That was my point.
Story.
We got it through. Everything's good. Top lane then. Smitty coming in here with those 2 long swords. And he's going to put down some pressure onto Odoamne. Obviously got that possibility to get more of an execute off now that he's hit that level 6 point. Odoamne really holding his own in that lane now that he's got that Catalyst to protect us. Smitty even taking a turret hit. Odoamne started to step forward. Thought we might see Twisted Fate coming in, but no Destiny available. Twisted Fate's actually just gone back and taken himself a rig camp.
Yeah, so the big deal now is down this bottom lane where Jan and Lucian just keeps farming and denying so much farm from Z's at the same time. It's a big issue, and remember the Relic Shield CS, you can see it on both the members who actually gets it, so no, he does not have, Z's does not have 11 extra CS, it is already in his score here. Febiven actually popped his ulti, was looking towards the top lane, but as soon as he saw Kikis, he knew, okay, I'm not gonna actually join in because it's gonna be pretty horrible, and decided just to use it to warn Odoamne.
So, wards taken away around Dragon, placed as well. And there's the vote. 58% of you thinking that SK Prime are going to win this one. You were close with 84%. If you add 30, take off 4, you're pretty much there, Deficio.
Pretty much. The votes today have actually been pretty wrong. The first one was like 75% to SK Prime. H2K won. Next one was 50-50. Fair enough, we'll take it. Then it was H2K would win. SK Prime won. Second one, I don't remember. Or fourth one, I don't remember. Now people believe SK Prime is going to win, and they're actually off to a pretty bad start.
Yeah, 3-1 behind in kills. Couple of 1,000 gold already. 10.5 minutes into it. Which could kind of skyrocket if H2K are able to get in for the first dragon. Could, of course, be nicely leveled up, or not exactly fully leveled up with a one single dragon, but SK Gaming Prime have generally done well in terms of taking early dragons, even in the games that they lost earlier.
Yeah, but again, they always, except for the one game,
Except that one where they messed it up.
Yeah, pick this like mid-game comp, so they have to get their early dragons, they have to get objectives. They have to do well in the laning phase and not be 40 CS behind.
Yeah.
At the moment, the Lucian is impressing us, but it's also a lot about the Nami in the laning phase against the Braum, which then, of course, gets evened out in teamfights where Braum will be stronger than Nami in the case he can block her ulti, which we talked about earlier. But things are not looking good for Z's, and again, as people normally say, when SK Prime loses the bottom lane, they have a very hard time in the games because suddenly it ends up losing dragons and they just fall behind with these mid-game AD carries and then they can't do anything.
So Bubble coming in. Are they going to try and go for the dive here? Trashy off to the side. There is the culling news. Caesar's down to half HP. Destiny is going to be popped here. Febiven is going to start his way. He's coming down towards the bottom lane. Zaitan, my friend, you are dead. And Smitty J comes in from the side. They're going to try for this one, actually. A lot of damage towards AOD. Maokai will join as well. Smitty goes down. Can they get any more? Febiven trying to get it for the stun card. Will land it as well. And just like that, 3 for 1 down the bottom lane. Should be the tower as well, although Rise has now come in and may die.
Oh,
there's the
he's
kick onto him.
die.
That was a questionable decision from What the Fox to be there.
Yeah, so he got a kill. He could just have ran actually back to his mid lane. It would have been fine. Right to tower. Let's see it again. TP coming in from Smitty, but first Febiven joins in. 4 members against Zaitan. Pretty unfair game here. Smitty actually comes in, completely misses his stun. I'm not sure what's going on here. He wanted to dash into them and stun, but just clicked stun first. Ends up doing absolutely nothing and just die. H2K chase it. Okay, AOD will die down this bottom, or down in the bottom of your screen. And now What the Fox decides to run into his own tower, even though there's still 4 members from H2K. Probably not the best decision.
I'm gonna go with no, probably not. What's the answer to that one? It leaves us then with a 2-0-4 Lucian, a 2-0-3 Twist of Fate, a 2-0-4 Lee Sin. Maokai got himself a kill as well. And 5 assists on the support. That is a good spread across the board for H2K with a 5,000 gold lead almost under their belt. If you look at Yanan, where he's gone with this Lucian, Brutalizer, BF Sword, Pickaxe, that is pretty scary, especially when you compare it with just the Phage and Sheen. And there's the bubble landing on towards Z's. Culling comes out, nicely blocked by Zaitan, though will keep his AD carry alive.
So, not a build I've actually seen before. On Lucian, normally you see like Blade of the Ruined King into Ghostblade, or you see Vintage into Static Shift as like the 2 options. But he's just mixing it up a little bit. Honestly, because he's so far ahead, he just want to really abuse it, get the early Brutalizer for the early damage, and just try and really snowball his lead here, which has been working. I mean, Z is completely shut down. He's so far behind. The ganks from H2K always worked out well. They got kills. They forced Z's to go back whenever a big minion wave was about to hit the tower. He got denied even more. Fell behind early, where the early level 2 went over to H2K. And now Smitty J.
Yeah, Twisted Fate. It's Odoan that's actually tanking up the turret here. He will flash away to leave Febiven to take that damage. Wildcards come through. Smitty J is making a run for freedom. And he somehow managed to turn all the way around. There's another auto attack. Minions might be enough to do it. Red card comes flying out. Febiven gets the kill. They're going to get the tower as well here.
Yeah, meanwhile, SK Prime looking towards this mid lane. But because the bottom lane was pushed all the way out, it opened up for Yanan and AOD to now rotate to mid lane and be there to defend it. So, nice play here by H2K. Really stepping it up now. First time we actually see them with some early power as well, and not just this full late game setups. And all of a sudden, they're doing really well. And also with the Maokai.
Yeah, who would have thought it?
And a Lee Sin, not a Rengar.
Yeah. Working wonders here for H2K. They may lose this bottom turret, although don't actually think so. Yanan and AOD managed to run to middle, save that tower, then run all the way back to bottom, save that tower. Tower savers, this bottom lane. Not just that, but they're absolutely destroying SK Prime in this 2v2. 130 to 80 CS. That's not good.
No, it is definitely not good. Oh. Let's see, just always dashing forward here, getting the double tap, then you fire your Q, you get double tap again, and all of a sudden your E is almost ready. And you are very safe. It's going to be hard for SK Prime to actually kill Yana in these fights because he can just dash around. It's going to be a lot about either flashing in with What the Fox, land the Rune Prism, and then you follow up with the stun and knock-up from Kikis, and then you can take him down. Smitty J once again, though.
Yeah, in trouble.
Well, maybe he can kite.
Well, he's fast at least.
Here.
Rise coming up for this one. Smitty gonna pull back there. There is the wild cards coming out, and it's actually the sapling that does it in the end. And now, What the Fox gonna get kicked into the rest of the team. Feb even gets another one. It's 10-2 and a 7,500 gold lead, almost, for H2K.
Almost. Still though, every single time H2K send TF to gank a lane, they don't lose anything anywhere. Because there's no dragon to be taken, and SKP is not in a position to even take it if it was up. At the same time, they constantly send Yana between mid lane and bot lane to defend the towers. So Fabian is free to go wherever he wants to, pick up the kills. Smitty's just been the target every single time. Oh, and there's a double bubble.
Double bubble, tidal wave followed through. Cataclysm did come down there from Kikis just before he died, but it's another 2 kills. It's another turret. And it's 10,000 gold lead.
We're 16 minutes in. Almost again. They're not done, by the way.
No, they're going to keep going on this one. Odom, they might have gone a little bit too deep on that, though. Actually gets shut down, but he may trade life for turret. Not quite finished off there. And SKP managed to repel the attack.
Almost got the tower.
Almost.
Almost worked as well with the dive.
And it's getting to the point, I mean, we're 17 minutes in, where SK Prime are just so far behind. Look at the item difference. Infinity Edge done. In fact, forget the item difference. Look at that double bubble.
Yeah, AOD on Morgana in the first 2 games just set up so many kills with the bindings. Now he picked Nami. And as long as H2K is in a position where he can actually start the fight by landing bubble or landing a binding, he will land them. Like we just saw here, double bubble. Instantly just go in, pick up kills, pick up the tower. Looking damn good. Infinity Edge completed. You got Brutalizer, which should be Ghost Blade for Yanan. And then it's just about time for another team fight, I guess, if you're H2K. Dragon coming up in 35 seconds.
Keep them fights coming because they're winning them all. 12-3 up, 2 kills for Rise, 1 for their AD carry, who is 45 CS behind. 35 CS behind.
Almost.
Almost. And that dragon coming up. Not really a dragon that SK Prime should be thinking about going for whatsoever. I mean, they're in a position where they're just so far behind anyway that they could really do with that dragon. Maybe a cheeky steal is something that they'd aim for, but they could also end up just getting aced, and then
exactly.
Then that 10,000 gold lead is definitely there.
Especially because H2K can always engage with the Maokai and then follow with either the TF who has an hourglass or just Trashy jumping in, kick someone back here. It's very easy for H2K to set up a fight. You got Nami as well for the follow-up with the wave. SK Prime is actually here at the Dragon. They do have the Corgi for the mid-game, do have the Riven, but still they are so far behind. Let's see what's gonna happen. February is down his bottom lane. He's looking probably to pour it in and just hourglass.
Yeah. Ward's coming down from SK Prime, and this is the longest dance we've seen at an objective for a while. Feb even taking a lot of damage. They just jump on him. He doesn't even have time to use his Zhonya's. It's now 5 versus 4, and SK Gaming Prime say, nope, we're not done just yet. We're going to go for Dragon. Meanwhile, H2K say, okay, you take that one. We're going to go up your mid lane.
Yeah, so they're actually forcing SKP away from the Dragon. They're looking for a fight again.
Well, they've gone on to Odom. They're the strongest one, and it's going to be turned around here. Zaytan going low. What the Fox is low. They're going to be one by one picked off. Kikis will also fall. Yarnan doing a great job of this one. They finally dive on him and do manage to get the kill. Smitty will go down. Now it's all on Z's versus the tree. And Kikis there at the back as well, who's got no health remaining. As Nami is coming back in. They need to run away. There is a twisted advance on towards Z's. Has he got enough damage to finish off? It's now going to help because AOD gives him the extra power, and that will be Odom getting another one. 3 for 1.
And this was with February being dead.
Right hand went down.
From the start, February from the start here. I'm not sure what he was doing in the bottom lane, but he got caught out. Now to go for the fight. In the back here, Jan completely untouched. You're jumping onto the tree here, and you want to try and kill him. That's not going to happen. So Jan is just staying in the back. There's so much damage. He will go down in the end because Zeez and Smitty jumps in, but Smitty goes so low, will die in the very end. Now Zeez is just left by himself almost. Kikis is here. He's not really able to do anything. And Oduamne just so confident on his Maokai. Going for the fight. And in the very end, just smacking the ground. Killing technology.
And get the dragon as well. And there is that 10,000 gold lead that I was talking about if they decide to fight for. I mean, it was a 5 versus 4,
yeah,
that fight. That's how far ahead H2K were.
They just didn't get to the AD carry, who was pretty fit.
Yeah, 3-1-8, Infinity Edge, Brutalizer. And he's picked up a Cutlass now as well, so see where he's gonna go finishing first. Either way, SK Gaming Prime far and away behind in this game. Seen for What the Fox picking himself up Glacial Shroud, Negatron Cloak. AOD even up in their jungle at this stage trying to get some vision down.
And there's so much armor on the side of Oduamne. What the Fox is the guy to kill him. Kogi, of course, does have some magic damage, but it's going to be very, very hard. And we actually do see Zeez just go straight for Last Whisper here. As a second item now, because there's so much armor on the side of Oduamne. And I mean, they have to kill him. We just saw the damage he can do because of Rod of Ages and because of his high base damage, especially on the Q. And their percent magic damage on his W as well. I mean, you can't just ignore him. You have to kill him.
Oh, Z's gonna go and get knocked down to less than half. Oduamne, you see there, he's just tanking up the entire team. Gets another Twisted.
He killed him as well.
Managed to get the kill. He's not dead just yet. Finally finished off with a shutdown. Where is Twisted Fate gonna go? Right on top of What the Fox. Manages to get the stun. Yarnan comes across. Double kill for him. And an ace for H2K.
And this is just all about Maokai jumping into 5 members. Takes all the damage. Even picks up a kill. And waits for the rest of his team to join in. Just to see it again. He goes in, past the tower, who cares? 4 members just hitting him, hitting him, hitting him. He refuses to die. Rest of the team joins in. He gets a kill on Zeez, the AD carry, and then he finally actually dies. He's just healing so much. And by this time, I mean, H2K, because they're so far ahead and because he's so far ahead, can of course take the team fight, take the towers. And let's see if they even got inhibitor. They didn't.
They didn't. No, not quite.
They didn't.
Not quite. So, where does that leave us then? Well, there's a lot of kills for H2K.
Almost 15,000.
Almost 1 a minute here, Deficio. That's how many they got. 6-11 Maokai, 5-0-11 Lee Sin, 4 kills for TF, 5 kills for the AD carry, and a single one for AOD. Deserved it as well because some great tidal waves and bubbles come out of him. And 15 assists to his name. Oduamne just getting tankier and tankier. There's Randuin's Omen for Lee Sin. The Death Cap was picked up for Febiven. And the Blade of the Rune King was also completed by Kjarnan the last time that they went home. And the gold lead sat at a very depressing looking 15,000 if you're an SK Prime player.
Yes.
And the Riven pick in the top lane just not working out for them. 0-6-5 has done very little this game.
Yeah, well, it did actually bait his own teammates into dying a few times, and that's been about it. Farm-wise, it was even. Then Febiven just went top lane a few times, killed him. In every single team fight, he's just been dying, and it's really fun to see the difference from H2K. Now they actually get some picks they can work with, especially in the early to mid-game. And where they don't give away the Maokai, they don't pick Rengar themselves, they actually take the Lee Sin, which works so well in the start. It's just a complete different team. So leading into relegation, if you are one of the LCS teams watching this, either you're going to look at H2K and say, they are very good with the right champions. Oh, Pippin might be in trouble.
And he may well just go down from this one. A lot of damage from What the Fox. There's a stun coming out though. Wild cards will land. Can Forbidden get away from this one? Flash from What the Fox will get him the kill. He's 4th of the game actually. In the meantime though, H2K will just pressure in this bottom lane. And Oduamne, he's going to come around. Is he actually going to go for the fight? Sapling will come down. I think Odamna also going a little bit too deep from this one. Nice little twisted advance off to the minions, but the rest of them just pile in. But here comes the cavalry. It's Yarnan throwing in his ultimate kick. Is surely going to go down. One more hit will do it. Flash from Yarnan, but he's now being chased by Smitty J. Uses the Blade of the Ruin King, and he's going to sidestep there as well. Zaitan is on to Trashy. Yarnan's going to get another one. No, shut down by Riven, and Trashy here is going to be pressured too. It's Corky that gets that one. It's a 4 for 3 for SK Prime.
Yeah, sloppy play by H2K here. First, February died one-on-one to Waterfox in the mid lane, and then Oduamne just walked all by himself past the tower, past all the members of SK Prime. He got taken down very early. Now the rest of H2K actually joins in, but look here. The shield from the Zaitan will also block the ulti from Nami, one of the reasons he's so good. Did Oduamne actually die? He did. Yes, he did. Still though, H2K here being a little bit too overconfident with the lead. No Baron was taken. Probably only lost the mid tower fort, so not the end of the world. So don't do it like 5 more times.
They have brought the gold lead a little bit back in their favor though. What did they actually take though after that? They didn't.
No, they didn't.
Nothing taken. Mid lane. In fact, obviously no towers even being taken as of yet by SK Gaming Prime. You also have to say, maybe not the biggest of tower-taking teams anyway. Short range on that. But also the fact that they can't get near them since they are so far behind. H2K on the Dragon. They're going to take that one away. SK Gaming Prime nowhere near it. That will be 3 out of 3. And they're going to add another blue buff to their total as well. And possibly then push up and kill off that damn inhibitor that they freed up earlier on. There's the Destiny in. He's just going to go straight into it. And we see SK Prime start to hit the recall, but they're going to lose an inhib for it.
Yeah, so probably have lost it anyway. Looked like they wanted to trade the mid tower for it, because all 5 members were there, but just instant recalled. Lost inhibitor. And let's see what H2K wants to do. They could set up a Baron. They don't need it at all. Nope. But also just focus on getting on the last few towers here. And then wait for super minions to spawn in the bottom lane. Then just push it. I mean, at this time they can even dive onto SK Prime if they want to.
Where are they going? Looks like they possibly going home. Everyone's sat on about 1,000 gold. And they're going towards Baron here. They've got vision control. There's a red ward in the back, which will be taken away.
Okay, Kiki's time to be a hero.
Be a man, Kiki.
You have to steal it.
Got to be a quick man here, though, because that Baron's going down very, very quickly. And look at Oduamne trying to lock Kikis up, stop him from getting in there. He slams it. He stole it. He stole it. Kikis gets it. But are they going to survive the fight afterwards? Cataclysm goes down onto 3. They're actually doing pretty well in this one. Z's once again stays untroubled at the back. They managed to kill off Riven, though. Well, that's a kill onto Maokai. 2 for 2 so far. Baron to SK Gaming Prime. Kikis, what a man.
What a man. And again, some sloppy play by H2K. Just go in there, a ward was placed, they didn't disengage, didn't respect the fact that Kikis could potentially steal it, and just kept hitting the Baron. In the end, he stole it, trading 2 for 2, and while they're still so far ahead, it's not exactly helping them finish the game at the moment. So they go for Kikis first here, trying to make sure he can't get into the Baron pit. Slides in, just takes it, easy peasy for him. And yes, he can sacrifice himself, but they're actually trading 2 for 2 and Baron for SK Prime, which wasn't even needed for H2K.
Interesting that they chose to kill off Riven there in the back of the pit rather than the AD carry that's just destroying their tank. Never mind. 26 to 12. Gold being shortened somewhat. It's now only 13,000 official, which is better than the 15,000 it was just a few minutes ago. But this Baron, not something that they can particularly capitalize on here, SK Gaming Prime. All well and good. Nice pickup for them, but they've got to deal with super minions from that bottom lane. They're going to have to deal with more siege here. H2K are far enough ahead to kind of nullify that Baron buff's power as well. And it looks like they're just going to go straight towards that top lane. Actually, nicely done from Smitty J just to push out that wave to slow them down a little bit. We see that Febivan is getting close to a full build. We're only half an hour into the game. Void Staff now added into his Death Cap, Zhonya's, Morella, Nomicon. Bad news overall for SK Gaming Prime.
Should probably get distortion on his boot though, seeing as he's running Ghost Flash.
Oh, this is bad as well. What the Fox actually been somewhat caught out, but the rest of the team now is going to be joining in. Odoamne tanking up the front line. There is the Zonya's going to be used at the backside. Hjarnan throwing in his damage. They kill off side time. Can they get any more from it? Odoamne going straight onto What the Fox, but he's all alone. Odoamne's going to go down on the other side. We see Jarvan trying to get away. Kick is there, slowed by the red buff of Hjarnan. Is he going to be able to squeeze in to finish off? One more auto attack should do it. Shield not enough there, and that will be a 3 for 2 for H2K.
So again, H2K here engaging by sending Odoamne all alone, tanking up all the damage. And then Fabian actually teleported into the middle of the fight. We're just going to see it again. Odoamne going in. Hjarnan and Fabian at this point is not part of the fight. Fabian joins in. Instant target switch from SK Prime onto him. He pops the hourglass. Smitty J is just waiting for him to come out to actually try and kill him. Will go down in the very end. Hjarnan joins in, but he's still full HP. He joined in pretty late. Once he came though, he managed to pick up a kill. Let's see what H2K did with it.
Well, there's the long chase, but Hjarnan just says, nope, I'm just going to crit you for that last shot. Get my kill. Doesn't matter about your, I was going to say armor, but there's not all that much of that anyway. Over 4 kickies. That leaves Hjarnan now 10, 2, and 13, up into double figures. And this is a Hjarnan that, you know, we'd come to expect after 2 games, then was pretty quiet and didn't have much of an impact in games 3 and 4, but he's done so well. This Lucian that was banned out against in the games before, he's done incredibly well with up until now. He's only going to be getting stronger. He's got one more item to complete, going to be getting that Banshee's Veiling.
And it all just went so perfect in the bottom lane. That Nami again against the Braum, so the lane was good for them. Lucian is a strong laner, of course. Had more sustain, they could win the trades like the poke wars, and at the same time, every time Kikis tried to gank, Trashy was there, turned it around in favor of H2K, continued to deny farm from Z, so he fell so far behind, there was nothing he could do in the lane, and therefore Hjarnan just kept picking up a lot of CS, he got his items, went in vintage first item because he got so much gold from dragons and kills, and then he went into the standard Ghost Blade and Blade of the King, which we normally see in Lucians in Europe at least. So, just a very, honestly, a perfect start for him.
So if we can get a perfect finish here, obviously having that Baron stalled away from them, maybe a little blip in the plan, but that inhibitor respawning, trying to get in there, but you can see playing a bit more cautious now, H2K. Last few minutes not exactly gone the smoothest that they would have hoped for. And again, it's just a case of, if you do a bit of damage here to the likes of Z's or to Smitty, force them to back away, and then just go straight in on that inhibitor. H2K here, definitely playing more cautious than we've seen those last few moments.
Yeah, and Smitty J constantly sits on the side here, hoping he can find an engage. Now he's actually going to run into the middle here, but he needs to flank around if he wants to get in onto Hjarnan or Fabian in that case. Fabian does have his hourglass, so he's going to be hard to take down unless they can instantly burst him, but will be inhibitor here for H2K. Now they just need to get the rest in the base and stop wasting so much time.
Sounds like you want to get to bed or something, Deficio.
No, I mean, they've only been like 15,000 gold ahead.
That's true.
After 25 minutes, 22 minutes. And then they've just actually been fooling around a little bit. Gave up a lot of kills, lost the Baron as well. And it's been buying time for SK Prime to get some items. I mean, Zeus has now picked up his Vintage and What the Fox as well on Rise. So, pretty far behind.
I think we're going to be seeing another Baron, though. It's time again, Kikis.
Will we see another
Step
steal?
up and be the man that SK Prime need. Done it once before, but probably needs to do it about 3 more times,
yes.
I think, in this game. That 15,000 gold lead has reappeared.
That thing for SK Prime is, even like in full late game, they're not exactly going to be better than H2K, so while they have to steal a lot of Barons, they also need to get some kills, get a goal lead, and without stating the obvious,
win the game.
Win the game. I mean, or at least not lose one more team fight, because then the rest of your base is gone.
Oh, this could be bad for them. No, Trashy going in. Twisted Face going to come around the side on towards What the Fox. Pops an early Zhonya's. Zaitan's down to half, and there is the focus on towards Seas. It's going to be picked up. So shutdown coming in from Trashy, and now they can work on the rest of the side. Riven diving into the middle, gets kicked away. So double kill there going down for Trashy. Not sure that Zaitan's going to get away. Actually flashes there over the wall. Meantime,
he's healing him.
He's just running straight through the jungle, chasing after What the Fox, and he's going to finally, at some point in the near future, finish him off. AOD comes in and just steals that one like a boss. That is the ace, and that should be the game here. H2K actually going to send Trashy in there. There is the teleport coming into the ward as well from Odoamne. First Nexus turret is going to go down. Second one will follow shortly afterwards as well, and H2K focus in on the Nexus, win the game 3-2 and become the summer playoff champions.
So the last game here went back to what actually worked for him in the first few games, and we saw the same result as the way we first won. Very dominant performance. They won the early game, they won the lanes, and managed also to simply take the game here. They've Riven up in the top lane for Smitty, didn't work out at all. Z's on Corgi this time around, didn't work, and SK Prime though managed to pick up 2 wins when they were down 2-0 and almost made the comeback.
Yeah, and I think that's almost as gutting as just losing 3-0 in some ways. You know, you're 2-0 back, you fight incredibly hard to bring it back to 2-2, and then you bow out in the final game with, well, they were dominated. It was almost exactly 20,000 gold by the end of it. You had 12 kills on the AD carry. Lee Sin, 9-1-18. What about that first pick Rengar 2 games in a row? Lee Sin was an amazing pick here once again for Trashy. Maokai, again, winning another game, 6-5, 21 assists onto Odoamne, and we saw him there just tanking up the team for absolute days.